being pro-life implies, to an extent, being pro-death. And this kind of touches on a previous video, the same concept as real winners win even when they lose, right? If you're truly pro-life, then that would, from a metaphysical point of view and from a theological point of view, indicate that you're also pro-life within the life of death, right? If death is alive, if death is, like, say, the Grim Reaper or something, and you're truly pro-life, that means that you're pro-life for the Grim Reaper as well, which means that you also are in favor of his position within reality. So being pro-life also means that you're pro-death. And it's funny because there's a song from a band called Necrogoblikon, and I'm trying to remember the title, the track title, but I don't recall at the moment. But in the song, it is asked, what does it mean to be alive, and would it mean anything at all if we were never going to die? It's a powerful question to ask. And the longer you sit on it, the more you realize that even death has a purpose here. Whether it's to teach or whether it's to balance scales. I mean, if everything happens according to law, then by definition, one's death would also be happening according to the natural law. Now, what that means is, I guess, open to interpretation, but not really. Because if I stand in front of a moving bus, then according to natural law, when that bus strikes me, then I earned it via the natural law. Now, there is the implication of karma as well. But how far that plays a role, who knows? But there seems to be a lot of confusion on what it means to be, quote, pro-life. And before anyone jumps on my case, I have no real one opinion about abortion other than it's abortion, right? There's a lot of nuance to it. Do I feel that people ought to just reach for abortion as some sort of escapism tool? No. At the same time, you can't argue being pro-life when you're only arguing from the perspective of the baby, not the mother, or whatever. And even still, if by pro-life you just mean that you're pro-birth, then that's incomplete and it's lacking. So I don't know. I hope that this gets the thought process going, and I hope that it doesn't just rub people the wrong way. But if it does, oh well. I mean, it's going to. It doesn't matter. And look, this is something that I've experienced over and over. It doesn't necessarily matter what the opinion is. Regardless, someone's going to hate on me. Someone's going to hate on my opinion. It's a time-tested, time-proven, repetitive thing that can be observed. All you have to do is interact with people online or out in public. And someone's going to start hating on you and hating on your opinions. So, again, being pro-life doesn't mean that you're just pro-life, period. Right? Because if you're pro-life, that means you're pro-life for the sheep and pro-life for the wolf that eats the sheep. Right? Unless you're just gonna say that you're just pro-life, as in I'm pro-life in general, and I don't include any death in that. Well, then you're just pro things being alive without them actually doing much of anything. You know, it doesn't take much thought to like really break these things down and look at them from a holistic perspective, right? If you're looking at things from any specific point of view, it's good to take it to the extremes, right? And as an example, like here's my perspective. I'm sitting in my car, whatever. But by definition, this perspective would be flawed because it is just a single point of view, right? Now, if you take that point of view and expand upon it to where I'm not just sitting in my car, but because I'm sitting in my car's sitting in my driveway, I'm also sitting in my driveway. My driveway is sitting on this planet, means that I'm also on this planet and involved in the electromagnetic field that engulfs this entire planet, which means that my words, my thoughts, my emotions, my actions will play a big role on that. But how, right? So if I'm just right here, then that's one perspective. But if I'm here and I'm also on the receiving side of whatever sort of malice or anger might be being output from this perspective, it opens things up to a different reality and a different way of seeing things, right? If one recognizes themselves as both here and over there, because inevitably all things are interconnected, it can have a profound impact on the way people think and behave. Likewise, if you have the perspective of I am nowhere, which would be to doubt one's own existence, it's going to have a profound impact on the way one thinks and the way one acts and the way one feels. So it's important, in my opinion, to look at things from many different perspectives, look at the logical extremes, and come up with your own conclusion, and at the same time still be open to what other people have to say and what reality has to show you. So anyways, this is just kind of a rambling. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, great. If you didn't, great. Keep coming back till you do, whatever. But point being is, like, being pro-life doesn't just mean what a lot of people seem to think that it means, right? What does it mean for a cougar to be alive? Well, it means that it's doing things that prey animals probably wouldn't find very toward. The sheep looking at the cougar is going to have a flawed perspective, right? If it's going to look at it from the perspective of, oh, that cougar's obviously not pro-life because here I am getting eaten by it, and the cougar's sitting there looking at the sheep saying, this sheep's obviously not pro-life because it didn't save itself. No, they're not thinking that. The sheep's thinking, fuck, why am I being eaten? And the cougar's thinking, oh man, it feels good to eat, right? Point being is that being alive from the egoic perspective implies that the ego is going to cause the death of other egos, right? In either a direct physical fashion or some other fashion, right? But point being, what does it mean to be alive? And would it mean anything at all if we were never going to die? Being pro-life means that you're also pro-life within death, right? So, I don't know, may seem like rambling, may seem like nonsense. I don't know, share your opinions. It's good to get feedback, right? But have a good day.